Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bad End Theater. This is a visual novel slash choose your own adventure I found from a video. I think it was a YouTube short or a reel. I don't remember which. Let me just turn on the music. As you can see, this has a few content warnings, so if you don't like those, feel free to not be here. That's totally okay with me. This game isn't supposed to be very long. It's supposed to, if we get all the endings, be about 2 hours. So I thought it would be nice to be a nice little transition from our very big length game into a smaller game. So we're just gonna get into it. Welcome to Bad End Theater. On this stage we shall be toying with fate. I don't know why it's giving me controller. I mean, I have my controller. Will it let me use my controller? Let's see. You will make many choices, unlocking darker and darker paths, all in order to witness a lovely variety of tragic events. But first, allow me to explain how it works. To begin the tutorial, select whichever doll you like. Whatever doll? Yeah, human doll, demon doll. I guess we can be human first. You control the human doll. You're a friendly little guy just minding your own business. How will you interact with the demon doll? Attack it, plain nice. He had done me no wrong. You try to make friends with the demon doll, but it kills you in cold blood. How ruthless! You found your very first bad ending. Don't worry, the story need not end here. Let's reset the stage and try again. This time, try controlling the other doll. Okay. You control the demon doll. You're a fierce-looking guy, just minding your own business. How will you interact with the human doll? I mean, we saw what happened when we attacked, so now let's be nice. You and the human doll are able to set aside your differences and become friends. Yippee! Why, this isn't a bad ending at all. I should have written out this possibility. It's just not sufficed to my theater whatsoever. Now that you know how the story goes, you can set the doll's behavior in advance. As you just saw, these behaviors will automatically be set to what you choose during your last playthrough. But now you can turn each one on or off without having to replay from that doll's perspective. Yes, my theater actually doubles as a puzzle game. Now then, try turning the doll's behavior on and off to see the different outcomes. Okay, so human doll. So wait, so like we do this, but they do this. You control the demon doll. You're a fierce-looking guy just minding your own business. How will you interact with the human doll? So, if I do play it nice, he'll attack me. Yeah. You try to make friends with the human doll, but it kills you. End tutorial. Okay, I got it. Do you understand how to play? Yeah, I got it. This game saves your progress automatically, so just relax and collect all the bad endings at your own pace. Now, without further ado, let's start the show. Ooh. Okay, so we have Hero, Maiden, Underling, and Overlord. This is a bop right now. Yeah, since we just finished Fire Emblem, let's go with Hero. You are the hero! You like to think of yourself as a pretty reliable and swell guy. Your life has been rather ordinary, aside from the occasional heroic adventures fighting evil monsters and whatnot. You're told a maiden from your village has been kidnapped and is likely being held captive at the nearby demon overlord's castle. Whoever puts a village right next to where an entire demon army hangs out, you don't get it. You're happy to protect the townspeople, though. You were born to play this role. You head off on your adventure to rescue the maiden, but demon soldiers block your path. You could kill them or gain experience. Collect all the bad endings, misery simulator? Yeah, this is kind of what this is. Bravely slaughter the evil creatures, flee like a coward. We're not fleeing, we're the hero, goddammit. You make quick work of the vile creatures who stood in your way. You feel much stronger now. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates. You are faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the Overlord. Cut through the demon army, ask if they'll let you in. They probably will. I mean, like, we could try to be diplomatic, but these guys looking kind of mean. You attempt to explain why you've come, but the monster before you is eyeing you with suspicion. You can't help but notice the demon blood from earlier you haven't had the chance to wash off yet. Whoops! You have no choice but to fight the army in self-defense. Oh well, more experience points for you. You make your way through- oh shoot. What did I say? You make your way through the castle, feeding off all demons that stand in your way. The Overlord appears, demanding to know what the hell you're doing murdering all of her soldiers. You get straight to the point and ask her where her maiden is. She feigns ignorance, a convincing act, but you won't be fooled. If the maiden isn't here, what happened to her? You can see only one answer. The Overlord definitely captured her. In fact, it's possible she's already been devoured. Thinking of that poor maiden's fate fills you with hatred. You fight the Overlord while everything you've got. Demon Lord kinda cute though. You become stronger from the hordes of demons. You look down before this final battle. The Overlord is almost no match for you. You cut her to pieces. The Overlord has fallen. You breathe a sigh of relief, but your job is not yet finished. You search the castle. Unfortunately, you find no signs of the maiden within the walls. It's just as you expected. She must have already been devoured. You feel hollow. A great evil has been banished from this world, but what does that matter if you were too weak to save someone? You stand alone amidst the carnage and ponder what it means to be a hero. You return to the Overlord's remains and wrap her head in your cape and bring it to the village. Surely your great victory will be celebrated. Failed hero end. Alright, let's reset the stage. Slaughter all the demons. Ooh, this is gonna be interesting. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll just kind of go through. So, I guess so if he killed them all, she died, so I guess we'll turn that off? You are a maiden! You live in a peaceful village next to a spooky demon overlord's castle. You're told that you're fated to be captured by the Overlord one day because you are a beautiful young girl. Demon Overlords apparently love capturing those. You think how you haven't heard of that actually happening to anyone, but maybe the demons just haven't been given the right opportunity. Who knows? You're in church. You pray to God, asking why you have been born into this role of a maiden. You disrespect the divine plan and all, but not disrespect. You respect the divine plan and all, but you're really just curious as to what the point of it is. You're really impatient. Being a demon actually sounds pretty gosh darn exciting. Maybe you'd understand your role better if you were just to hurry up and get captured already. You leave a note and venture forth to find a demon, just to, you know, see what happens. Not long into your little adventure, a demon underling appears before you. It looks pretty scary. Shout for a hero to come save you. Introduce yourself. Well, she wants to meet this demon at this point, so we'll go with introduce yourself. You tell the demon your name and explain you're a maiden from the village. The demon suddenly jumps on you and starts biting a lot. How painful. This plan of yours was completely stupid, you think. Why couldn't you have been more patient? Why did you go looking for trouble? You aren't angry or anything, of course. This was all your fault for trusting a demon not to devour you on sight. This is your punishment for questioning fate, you guess. Bit by bit, you are swallowed by a demon until you are no more. Oh. Well, I think we get a little, I guess, yeah, so that also was bad. So we'll keep that off too. You are a demon underling in service of the Overlord. You aren't particularly strong, but not particularly weak either. That's what your friends tell you. Your job is to guard the castle and keep humans away. It's unbearably boring. Heroes rarely come all the way here to challenge the Overlord anyway. It's all a lot of standing in one place, staring into nothing. You feel like you're gonna go crazy. You don't get a break. You decide to ask the Overlord for a day off. She gives you an earful about responsibility and unquestioning obedience. You wait for her to finish her lecture before returning to your post. What does she know about anything? Who made her the boss of everyone? You complain about the Overlord to your friends. They agree that she is kind of a snob and totally deserves to be kicked off her throne. You only wanted to vent your frustrations, but the conversation somehow turned into an assassination plot. You should probably steer this in a responsible direction. Let's overthrow her, let's not... Yeah, let's do it. Let's get her. No, you're sick of this overlord holding you and your friends back. You agree that it's time for a change of management. Your friend suggests maybe you should be the new overlord. You think that you like the sound of that. You announce your first act of rebellion is to take the day off like you wanted. Your friends aren't very impressed. You assure them you'll talk more about the assassination things when you get back, which satisfies them. You sneak out of the castle and have some fun. The change of atmosphere excites you. You spend some time rolling around in the grass, wild and free. As you make your way along the path to a nearby human village, you encounter a maiden. She seems very frightened and screams for a hero to come save her. Oh no, because we turned off the polite thing! Oh no! You consider your options. Yeah, stop yelling! When the maiden realizes you're not going to hurt her, she regains her composure. Now she starts talking to you like your old friends or something. You don't understand humans at all. You speak the same language, of course, which has always confused you, because why is there conveniently only one language in the world? If demons and humans have independent societies, wouldn't it make more sense for them to have their own language? The maiden is going on and on about some kind of destiny she's trying to fulfill. The bottom line from what you gather is that she wants you to take her to the Overlord. Sounds like it could be interesting. Besides, you have nothing better to do. Satisfied with your day out, you take the maiden back to the castle and present her to the Overlord. The Overlord asks where you found this maiden, knowing full well that you left the castle when you weren't supposed to. You apologize for disobeying her, but hope that the maiden is an interesting enough present that may be forgiven. The Overlord nods and says something cool, says everything's cool as long as you always listen to her from now on. You're impressed with what an easygoing boss she is. You mentioned how you can't believe you and your friends even considered overthrowing her. She gives you a look to say that was a joke, of course. She smiles and dismisses you, decides it's about time for a nap. You don't get to sleep long. Your friends wake you up. Rude. One of them is stepping on you pretty hard. You ask them what their deal is. They say they're planning a whole revolution. They're gonna get rid of the current overlord and put a new ruler in place. They want to hear if you're in or out, and being a pretty lazy underling, of course you reply with, "That sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we just skip it instead?" Your friends question your loyalty to their cause. Okay, so this immediately means we'll die. So... I guess we're killing the Overlord. You tell them you were just joking, and clarify that you're totally with it. They say that you were always terrible with jokes. Whether or not you actually feel like killing the Overlord, you know how bad it would be to end up on the wrong side of things. And if this assassination deal doesn't plan out, you can always pretend you were innocent all along. But beneath your shield of faux confidence, you worry about what you're getting yourself dragged into. You follow your friends outside the castle to talk more about the plan. You're curious if they have an idea of how they want to go about this. They figured they'd just lock her in a room and set it on fire. What a stupid plan. That could go wrong in so many ways. You realize your friends are just a bunch of directionless thugs, unless without someone's guidance, your guidance. There would probably be casualties if you fought her head-on, and while showy deaths make a revolution a heck of a lot more fun, it's probably the wrong way to go. Your friends agree and suggest that you play the assassin. You really didn't want it to come down to this, but you can't just back down now. You'll have to be the one to assassinate the Overlord. Besides, no one has any better ideas. You sneak into the Overlord's room. She's taking a nap like usual. This is almost too easy. You silently approach your master. She looks... What did that say? She looks so peaceful. Well, again, we die if we chicken out, so... time to die. You figure the cleanest way to do this would be to dig your claws into her throat, so you do just that. She wakes up, not in time to stop you. You watch as she chokes on her own blood, cursing you before finally expiring. That felt terrible. You remind yourself it was either her or you. and you weren't about to let yourself get killed by anyone. You leave the room to find your friends waiting just outside. They look pleased. Only now do you realize they must have planned to use you like this from the beginning. You are the new ruler of this castle. Your subjects bow before you. You live in fear that they will one day betray you as you had betrayed the Overlord. Lord Underling and B. Alright, let's reset the stage. Oh, we got a lot more things here. Alright, eat. The maiden immediately gets involved in a plot to kill the Overlord. Doesn't go through the assassination plot. Well, since we're gonna do the Overlord next, we want her to live, so let's put on that one? Maybe? You are the Overlord. You live in a castle surrounded by your demon servants. It's a pretty cushy life, you think? Except for those pesky humans who keep killing members of your army. There's even a role called Hero, whose whole purpose in life is to dethrone you. What's their deal anyway? You've actively avoided pissing off the humans in hopes that they'll leave you and your army alone, but they never do. You're still new to the whole Overlord thing, if you're being quite honest with yourself. You don't really understand the politics of it. But you remind yourself everyone is just doing their best to fulfill their roles. You won't let them bait you into being the evil Overlord they expect. You think you're pretty cool and mature to hold yourself in higher standards like that. One of your underlings walks into your room, totally interrupting your thoughts about how awesome you are. They're saying something about how boring it is to stand in one place guarding the castle all the time, especially since no one ever comes here anyway. You see their point, but the way they're whining about it kind of bothers you. What will you do with the underling? Get them back to work? Grant them the day off? Well, as we know, these like choice things are actually interesting, because if I grant them the day off, they will not plan to kill me. But I have it set already that they're not going to kill me anyway. So if I grant them the day, but if they don't kill me, they'll die. And maybe someone else will come get me? If you give them the day off, they could use it to plot, maybe. I want to see what happens with the thing I triggered, so I'll tell them to get back to work. You give them a lecture about the responsibility and unquestioning obedience. Your servants ought to do what they're told, whether you like it or not. They look really unhappy with you, but you're sure that they'll thank you for this later. Venturing too far from the castle tends to spell death. You dismiss the underling and lie down in your nice and comfy Overlord bed. All that lecturing made you want to take a nap. You fall asleep pretty quick. Just another one of your amazing talents as the Overlord. You wake up to knock on your door. The underling from earlier brought back some company. You thought you told that underling to do their job, not drag strangers into your room. Looks like they took an unauthorized breakaway from the castle. You scold them, but ultimately, you're a little interested in this guest. You let them off. You're ultimately a little interested in this guest, so you let them off easily. That underling's not so bad. It's a maiden from the nearby human village. She says her role is to be captured by you. The maiden then goes on to say that she's been getting very impatient thinking about her imminent capture. She's come here to speed things along. You appreciate her honesty, but regret to inform her you never had any plans of capturing any humans. She seems very upset. Perhaps I'm not performing my role well enough? How can I become more maiden-like? You really don't understand the question. You think this world puts way too much focus on destiny and junk. Just go home and stop worrying about it, you tell her. The maiden seems to be having a hard time wrapping her head around this. She insists that she will stay and talk to you more. You feel warm inside as she looks into your eyes. This is the first time a human has looked at you without contempt. You wonder what to say. Tell her she better go home, let her stay for a while. Well, if she doesn't go home, the hero is gonna come kill me. Like, I'd love to chat with you, girl, but I don't want to die. You'd love to have all the conversations in the world with your new friend, but having a human girl here will definitely cause trouble. You put your mean face put on your mean face and tell her to get lost, but the maiden turns out to be very stubborn. You don't want to hurt her, but you also really want her to leave in case something bad happens. This whole situation is asking for trouble, you think. Against your better judgment, you let her hang out for a little while. You enjoy a nice long chat with her, sharing stories about your kind. She expresses her surprise that demons are not as bad as what she expected them to be. You're glad that she seems to have a huge open mind about these kinds of things. You also bring up how she always instructs your army to avoid humans, as not to agitate them and get heroes sent out after you. That explains why people of my village have been left unharmed. It's because of your orders, isn't it? We are very grateful. You're surprised to hear thank you. You've always thought of humans to be violent and unreasonable. That's why your statements are always getting killed. Your servants are always getting killed, despite your efforts to leave them alone. Oh. But this maiden is different. You joke that maybe you've been lying to her this whole time and that you're actually super evil all along. The maiden laughs at that, saying she wouldn't mind being held captive here. The people of her village are always a little exhausting at times, she says. You can't tell if she's into you or not. Huh? Okay. You're interrupted by another human in your doorway. This time, it's a hero, who's definitely killed a lot of guys. He was apparently searching for the maiden who was rumored to have been captured by your kind. Captured? Not at all. I only wanted to meet with the Overlord. Didn't anyone read the note I left behind? After everything is explained, the hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. I know you killed people to get here! The maiden apologizes for causing trouble, and the hero asks her to return to the village with him. Confusing feelings well up inside your heart. You're surprised that you had one of those to begin with. You don't want the hero to take the maiden away from you. Oh! Looks like this leads to death. I think we'll need to do something with the maiden to make sure she doesn't die, so we'll let them go for now. You're certain that she'll return to spend some time with you. You just have to trust that, you decide. With the hero and maiden gone, you plop down into the comfort of your luxurious overlord bed. Your room feels so empty now. Is this loneliness? You hope your new friend will be back soon. You close your eyes for a while, until your door slams shut. Before you knew it, everything around you is being engulfed in flames. What's going on? You try to escape, but something's blocking the door. You're having trouble trying to force it open. What is this? Someone didn't want you getting out. Are you being usurped? They have zero foresight. What castle will they rule if this one burns? You don't want to believe it, that your underlings have betrayed you, but this is no accident. Those ungrateful bastards. You choke on the thick black smoke from the fire. You can't believe you're being done in by a bunch of cowards. You'll see them in hell. Burned Overlord and oopsies. Oopsies. Alright. So we died either way. Huh. Alright. So you made the Demon Lord gay? I didn't do anything. We're trying to be nice. Let's try not to kill. Forgetting your pride, you escape with your life. But you can't return home now. Your reputation will be ruined. Wonder how you'll ever be able to rescue that maiden all on your own if you can't even fight some lousy demon underlings. You take your chance at the castle. You're a hero after all. This is your job. After a long trek, you make it to the castle's front gates, where you are faced with an army of demons that all look very intimidating. There's no way to sneak past these monsters if you want to reach the Overlord. Let's ask kind nicely. You go up to the nearest demon and explain why you've come. They stare down at you and feel very uncomfortable. They seem to trust you and escort you directly to the Overlord's chambers. That was easy. The Overlord and the maiden seem to be in the middle of some casual conversation when you barge in. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. What's going on? The maiden explains that she was never really captured, that she came here on her own volition. That was a pretty dangerous thing of her to do, but no one got hurt, so at least there's that. You ask her to return to town with you to reassure everyone... to reassure everyone of her safety. The Overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you casually exit the castle. You try to make conversation with the maiden, but she's pretty quiet since leaving the Overlord's room. Is she shy? She suddenly stops in her tracks and tells you your head... oh my god. She suddenly stops in her tracks, and you turn your head to ask what the deal is. The Overlord's castle is engulfed in flames. You can't help but feel relieved you got the maiden out of where you did, but she suddenly takes off towards the burning castle. Panic sets in and you follow to try and stop her. The smoke is so thick you already lost sight of her. What is she thinking? This is too dangerous to continue. You feel hopeless. You stand alone at the castle gates. Your body won't allow you to take another step forward. No, going in there would be suicide. You return to the villagers and tell them that there was nothing you could do. You were too late. The maiden was claimed by the demons. Hey, that's not what she was... Bruh. That's not what she was claimed by. She's actually not so bad, you guys. Your friends seem pretty disappointed. They apologize to you, but before you can ask what they're sorry about, one of them suddenly seizes you. Someone who's still loyal to the Overlord really has no place in our castle, you understand, right? Their claws tighten around your neck. You don't bother to struggle. You're outnumbered. You already know how things like this end. This is a pretty messed up thing to do to her friend, you tell them. They slit your throat in response. Faithful unnerving ending. Okay. I know what to do. Let's not. You tell your friends you were totally not serious about this whole thing. You're actually cool with the status quo. After all, life must be pretty dang good if the only thing you have to complain about is that you live so comfortably. There's nothing to do. The others nod, but don't seem convinced. You say a coup d'etat would be more effort than it's worth. But you're still gonna be a rebel and sneak out of the castle. Your friends praise your mischievous ways. Oh my gosh, she's not bad. No, what? Okay. You tell the demon your name and explain that you're a maiden from the village. You tell them that you were thinking maybe you could understand your role better if you would hurry up and get taken away by the demon already. The demon doesn't seem to have really been listening to you, which is a little irritating. They agree to take you to their master nonetheless. After a long walk to the castle, you're introduced to the Overlord. She lectures the underling that brought you here, who was apparently not supposed to leave their post. You wonder what cruel punishment awaits them. But to your surprise, she lets them off easy. The underling is dismissed and the Overlord turns to you, very interested. You explain why you've come. She squints at you. It turns out she never had any plans to capture maidens, or do anything else that would agitate the humans. You wonder for a moment if she might be lying, but it doesn't really seem like it. Still, this doesn't make any sense to you. You've always been told that demons would one day sneak you out, and something awful would happen, then a hero would come to your rescue. You don't want to believe you've been lied to all along. Maybe it's just that you haven't been maiden-like enough? You ask the Overlord what you should do to be a more suitable maiden, but she doesn't seem to understand. Just go home and stop worrying about destiny so much. She makes it sound so simple, like this Overlord seems like the complete opposite of you. You want to learn more about her and how she thinks. You insist on staying to talk to her more. The Overlord shares more stories about demons with you, and little by little you realize they might not be the ruthless monsters you were raised to believe. As it turns out, she commands the demons to avoid towns and villagers. She didn't want to risk giving the humans any excuses to send a hero after them. You realize that must be why she never heard of any demons attacking your town. You express your gratitude to the Overlord on behalf of your village. She says you can thank her by telling the humans to stop raising heroes. She's tired of her servants getting killed off by them. You've always thought demons were violent and unreasonable creatures, but it seems the Overlord could say the same about humans. You may be different, but really, they're just trying to live their lives the same as you. You feel like you're starting to understand things a lot better. But maybe everything I've said was to deceive you. And the other humans, what would you do if I turned out to be super evil all along? Even if she were to capture you by now, you think this place is far more interesting than the way things are back home. You kind of like not being told to expect a demon to come after you all the time. You feel free. Honestly, You've always kept to yourself. Spending time with this overlord has been very nice. You feel butterflies in your stomach. Oh, dang it. As you think of that, a hero enters the room. You're surprised to see him at first, until you realize he must have been sent to retrieve you. Confused, the hero asks what's going on. You explain the situation, reassuring him that you were never in danger. The hero expresses his relief that this whole misunderstanding hadn't led to any horrible consequences. You apologize for causing trouble, but really, didn't anyone read the note you left? Jeez. The hero asks if you'll return to the village with him to give everyone the news of your safety. The overlord allows the two of you to leave, and you give her a little wave as you exit the room. You'll be back soon. You're about halfway back to the village when you feel something is off. Unable to shake your concerns, you look back over your shoulder. You stop in your tracks, the castle is engulfed in flames. Is the overlord alright? You can't return to the village like this, you have to know. You have to be sure everyone is safe. You've already taken off before the hero can even think of stopping you. You scan the fleeing demons, but the overlord isn't among them. Against your better judgment, you rush into the burning castle to find her. You quickly reach the overlord's room, but the door is shut tight. The handle is too hot to touch. You're too weak to force it open. You pound your fist against the door helplessly. What were you thinking? This is all because you'd forgotten your role. Only a hero could pull this kind of thing off. You start to cough. The smoke is too thick. You can hardly breathe. You realize you haven't much time left now, so you desperately head towards the stairs to save yourself. But the fire spread faster than you expected. You won't make it outside. You can't help but laugh. What a joke. A maiden saving the overlord? If you had just stayed to your true role, things wouldn't have ended like this. This is exactly the kind of punishment you deserve. You let the demon fire cleanse your rotting soul. Selfless maiden and B. How do I make you all live? You ask her to return to the town with you, to reassure everyone of her safety. But the overlord objects to this. The maiden tries to tell her that she'll come right back, but the overlord refuses to hear it. The maiden seems nervous. As a hero, it's your job to mediate situations like these. You tell the overlord that if she doesn't let the two of them go, you'll have to assume she's evil. You'll be forced to extinguish her. You leave me no choice. The overlord pauses before suddenly jumping onto you. You're helpless as she disembowels you with her claws. How horrible. You came all this way only to be met with this cruel fate. You should have destroyed these evil creatures when you had the chance. Your dying wish is for the maiden to somehow make it out of this alive. Damn, I thought maybe we could be like, okay. Alright. But the overlord adjusts to the hero's suggestion. You tell her you plan on returning soon, but she isn't having it. You feel nervous. The hero puts on a brave face for you. If you won't let her go, maybe you demons are evil, after all, and if you are, I'll be forced to vanquish you. You leave me no choice then. The overlord suddenly jumps onto the hero. She tears into him with her claws. You want to cry out, but the scream catches in your throat. You watch because you can't look away. Has she really been lying to you all along? You wonder, is this your punishment for questioning the divine plan? The overlord approaches you now. You back yourself into a corner. Her expression is complicated. Being captured by the overlord is in a horrible way like this. Was this your destiny after all? She vows to keep you very safe from now on. You're afraid to find out what that means, but there's no one left to save you. You belong to the overlord now. See, now that's toxic Yuri that we accidentally made. That's not what we wanted. Toxic girl, from what I've been seeing on Twitter, that's peak fiction. The overlord is alone. You ask about the maiden, but the overlord doesn't seem to know what you're talking about. Was she really never here? You wonder what could have happened to her. The overlord says that she wishes she could help you, but you're the first human that's come here in forever, at least that she knows of. You think of how you probably shouldn't trust her, seeing as she's a demon and all, but you can't really prove that she's lying either. You apologize for the intrusion and return home to your village. The maiden was never found. Useless hero end. Okay, alright. Time to eat her. Maidens aren't the best meal, but you figured you should line up your demon... You should live up to your demon name and strike up against the humans. You start devouring the maiden without so much as a second thought, and feel quite proud of that. Other humans would surely praise you with curses if you were to Blech. Other humans would surely praise you with curses if they were around to see. Oh man, if only someone could have been watching. It's time for your audience. It's time to find an audience for your evil deeds. You wander into a nearby village. The people are screaming and running away, throwing rocks at you and whatnot. You think that's pretty rude of them. You haven't even done anything yet. Put on a show, change your mind, and leave. I guess we'll put on a show. You attack the nearby humans. He is old and weak, and his bones crunch delightfully. Your audience screams, grow louder. Applause! You think, hey, this is actually pretty fun. I should have taken revenge like this a lot sooner. As you continue your bloodthirsty dance, striking the village down, you fail to notice a sword-wielding hero coming towards you. He takes you out in one swift blow. You're just a demon underling after all. As you die, you think, that was totally worth it. The curtain closes. Very funny. Change your mind. You figure if people are this upset at just the sight of you, they won't fully appreciate the terrible acts you'd commit. Also, they might fight back. That probably wouldn't end well. You're just a little underling after all. This little day has been adequately refreshing. You return to the castle thinking you'll take a nap. Alright, I guess we're killing her. Let's see what happens when we actually do it. You don't want to kill her. You can't go through with it. You turn to leave the room, but you find your friends blocking the exit. In a panic whisper, you ask them to let you out. This seems to have been their way of testing your loyalty. You tell them this is pretty fucked up and ask again to be let out. The Overlord stirs in her bed while your head is turned. The demon shut the door. You scramble into the Overlord's closet to hide before she wakes up. You're not dead! Oh, baby, this changes things. Before she wakes up and sees you, there's nothing you could possibly say to explain this and survive. You're terrible. You can't believe those assholes would bully you like this. You feel like crying. Lights flicker at your feet. It doesn't take long to realize that they've set the room on fire. You hear the Overlord trying to get the door open to no avail. You're both trapped. Too afraid to move, you resign to yourself to your fate. You and the Overlord burn together. Okay. Let her go. Oh, I'll go from here. You're certain that she'll return to spend more time with you. You just have to trust in that, you decide. With the hero and the maiden gone, you plop down into your comfort of your luxurious Overlord bed. The room feels so empty now. Is this loneliness? You hope your new friend will be back soon, so you close your eyes for a while. You've almost fallen asleep when the maiden and your hero burst into your room, frantically trying to communicate something to you. You're told a group of demons is plotting to assassinate you. You're not surprised how nice of the humans to care. You're not surprised how nice of the humans to care, though. One of your underlings barges in next, shouting that the humans are liars. They're followed by another group of demons crying that everything was that first underling's plan. Everyone is shouting over each other now, and it's very annoying for you. It's very annoying. You yell for all of them to shut their traps. You have no doubt that your servants wouldn't let their ambition cloud their judgment and lead them to try to take your throne. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone, to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. Saying that made you feel very Overlord-like. You're unsure if you have the strength to back it up, though lately all you do is sleep. The group of demons started muttering something about going back to Plan A and suddenly slammed the door shut. You, the maiden, the hero, and one of your underlings are trapped inside. In an instant, the whole room is set ablaze. The underling pounds on the door, cursing at all their friends for betraying them. The hero pounds on the door as well, vowing to slay the cowardly demon on the other side. So this is how you'll die, burning alive in your own room by those you thought you could trust. You should have expected this from a bunch of idiot demons, though. You notice the maiden crying. Why does she have to die over something that has nothing to do with her? Perhaps she was cursed from the moment she spoke to you. You wonder if you're cursed as well. You're so filled with anger and frustration you don't even notice that you grabbed the underling those traitors blamed everything on. They cry for mercy, saying they were dragged into this plot, knowing they'd be killed if they took your side. They cried that they didn't want to have to kill you. You almost feel sorry for them. Well, forgive them. I've been making the choices. I know that he doesn't want to do this. You release the underling. Killing them wouldn't make you feel any better. Besides, you've already gotten their punishment. You'll all burn together. Okay, we got somewhere. Overlord's true ending? Whoa, 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 whoa. Before you're taken back to the reset of the story once again, you pause for a moment. True end? You say to yourself, no, literally. What was the point of all my efforts if the true ending is this terrible? You must have forgotten where you are. This is bad end theater. Is the pain setting in? Oh, but you should have been well aware of what you've been shown when you entered this place. What you'd be shown when you entered this place. It's a problem I've seen quite often. At some point, you grew attached to my little cast. You started to relate to their flaws, their plights. You started wishing for their happiness. But you aren't going to find that here in my theater. My lovingly crafted labyrinth of suffering. Anyway, I hope you'll pardon the interruption. You're making great progress. The choice to continue on to the next ending is always yours. I'll leave you to it, dear guest. Well, that's not very nice. Near the castle's entrance, you spy a group of suspicious demons congregating. They're talking about assassinating the Overlord. You have to warn her. But the hero shakes his head and says that if this is the true nature of the demons, the world is better off with less of them. This isn't right, you think. What kind of hero passes up on the chance to save a life? The demons have taken notice of you. It's now or never. You take off into the castle, and the unreliable hero follows shortly after. You burst into the Overlord's room, all of your words spilling out at once. You should probably slow down, but there's no time. The Overlord seems to have followed your frantic explanation, but clearly doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. The underling you recognize from before barges in, calling you a liar. You're surprised they were part of this evil plot. They seemed so nice. The other demons come in right after them, saying that the whole thing was the first underling's idea. Everyone is shouting at each other now. It's really stressing you out. You're relieved when the Overlord demon demands silence. She threatens them with violence, and you think she's very Overlord-like in this moment. See, they're thinking alike. The group of demons hisses to each other before shutting the door, leaving the little one behind. You watch as it pounds on the door in distress. Have they locked you all in? You have a bad feeling about this. And thinking that you must have jinxed it because now the room is engulfed in flames. If only you had ignored those demons before, you and your hero wouldn't have stumbled into this situation. If you had just pretended not to hear them, if you had left as you were told, only the Overlord would have been killed. But you couldn't have done that. That path isn't an option for you. You think that no matter what, you'll always strive for a path where everyone survives. It must exist. It simply must. That's what I'm looking for, girl. The Overlord seizes the underling. They beg for their life. You pray. You don't know what else to do, so you just pray. The Overlord spares the underling. You feel relieved, but it doesn't make any difference. Will you all burn together? Maiden's true end. Ooh. It can't end like this. You wanted to answer the Maiden's prayers. You've decided to find a way to save everyone. By retracting the paths you've seen so far, there doesn't seem to be any room to avoid a bad ending. Is there really nothing you can do to keep them all from getting killed in the end? If there's nothing you can do by acting from within their story, maybe it's time to take things into your own hands. Ooh! Ooh! What's this? Oh my god, this is so cool. You are ? You boldly insert yourself into the story and use the incredible power to warp everyone to safety. You didn't know you could do that, but what's going on here? You take a moment to get a look at yourself. You are you, but why are you pitch black? You feel like this body doesn't accurately represent you, but you move past it. The hero, maiden, underling, and overlord have been staring at you too. They look like they don't really know what they're supposed to do right now. You guess that's because you're usually the one guiding them. What will you say to them? This is crazier. I've come to save you. You explain to the group that you've witnessed their many terrible intertwining fates, and now you're searching for a good ending. Of course, that makes no sense to any of them, only the maiden understands your compassion. My prayers have been answered! You must be... her god? No, you're merely the player. If there was any god here, they'd be the final boss. That's just how these role-playing games go, so... now you realize what the real true ending must be. Now, enough of this. I admit I've been encouraging you all along, but a self-insert story? How passé! You watch helplessly as tragedy descends from the heavens. You didn't honestly believe you were the only one who could force your way into the stage, didn't you? I am the narrator, storyteller, god of this world. Call me Tragedy if you like. The darkness envelops your party. You don't mind if I send each of them back to relive one of the many bad endings, right? You are alone in this darkness with me, Tragedy. I sincerely hope you've been enjoying your time in my theater. Though I can't abide you stealing the show without my permission. It's quite disrespectful. I'm sick of all these bad endings. Then frankly, you should have never come to this place called Bad End Theater. Haven't we already been over this? You think defeating me might just be the only way to see a better ending? It's all that's left for you, isn't it? Well, this doesn't sound like it could have been more entertaining. Show me what you've got. Time to fight God. The stage is set for your final battle against me, the god of this world. What will you do? How will you fight against tragedy itself? I'd love to see it. Alright, let's fight him. You try your best to tear me down, but you can't seem to do any damage. You don't truly exist in this world after all. Oh, is that all? You'll never defeat me like that. Wait, let me try again. Defend. You try closing your heart off to protect yourself, but it doesn't make you feel any better. Perhaps you don't understand just how outclassed you are here. Whoa! Behold my beautifully tragic tales. Doesn't seeing them all again make your heart ache? You've witnessed 14 of my painstakingly crafted endings. Your heart does indeed ache for these characters. How could you want to put an end to all of this? You truly care for them that much? They're still suffering backstage, you know. It's a shame they couldn't make it here to a true end of the world. That's right. You came here to save them. You can't stop until they're saved. Probably something like that. Call for a friend to join battle. Alright. We need the Overlord up in here. I'm assuming it's in the order. Yep. You enter the Overlord's room, relieved to see the fire contained to the torches on the walls. When you close the door behind you, the Overlord rises from her slumber. Who are you? Have you come to reside in my castle and serve me? You explain that no, you're here to serve her. It's more like you've come to do her a favor. You ask her why she spends all day sleeping instead of commanding her demon army. She laughs in response. Many of my underlings certainly think I would be more aggressive with the humans, like my father before me. His quest for revenge was endless and self-perpetuating. There's a reason I had to destroy him. You can't help but think it's a little late in this game to be getting some new backstory. I have no interest in waging a war on the humans. I merely wish to be left alone, to live a peaceful, indulgent life in my castle. You realize she must actually be very lonely, only surrounded by soldiers instead of friends. No wonder she gets so attached to the maiden. The true end of the Overlord's success suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate. My own attempts at peace have been rather imperfect. If you offer a solution, then very well, I will follow you. The Overlord will now fight alongside you. I see. So this is tragedy. Ah, you've brought the Overlord. I don't stand a chance now. You prevented me from attaining peace for long enough. Prepare to die. I hope you've prepared to face your deaths as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Owie. Ooh. Ambition, brutality. I'll reach my true ending with my own power. The Overlord uses her ambitious nature to overcome tragedy. Tragedy is reeling. Brutality. The Overlord tries to fight tragedy with sheer brutality. Oh, has violence really ever been working out for you this far? I'll show you my own brutality. Okay, so that one's bad. Okay. Let's bring in someone else. Let's bring in our little guy. You approach the gate of the Overlord's castle. The underling is on guard duty as you expected. They call out to you. The other demon guard is sound asleep. Hey, you're a pretty weird-looking intruder. What do you want? You explained that, no, you're not an intruder, although you're definitely intruding into their story right now. You tell the underling you've come to save them from tragedy. Oh, try saving me from boredom first. I hate this job. The underling snickers at you. What kind of a job would they rather have? It'd be best if you didn't have to work at all. I just want to live a carefree life and never be bossed around or picked on. You think of the underling's friends who had bullied them into an assassination plot only to be betrayed by them in the end. If they kept better company, maybe they wouldn't feel so restless. The true end of the underling suddenly becomes clear. You offer to help. So there's a way for me to even that work can be fun? Sounds fake. I'll tag along with you just in case. The underling will now fight alongside you. Wait, what the fuck? You didn't say anything about a boss battle. The underling, You must be desperate to call in such an unreliable ally. Huh? If I beat this guy, all my problems will be over? Oh, but it won't be that easy. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Tenacity. Knock me down and I'll just come back stronger. The underling uses their tenacity to overcome tragedy. Tragedy is reeling. Alright, so mischief will be bad. So, like, brutality's bad, mischief's bad, so everyone will have I want to save the maiden for last. You find the hero in his house, hunched over a sewing table? Your sudden intrusion scares the hell out of the poor guy. Are you some kind of demon? You explain that, no, you're not a demon. How can you explain it in a way that a hero can understand? Instead, you ask what he's sewing. Oh, this? I craft all my own hero gear. You sense his pride in his hobby. You wonder if the costumes are what attracted him to the role of hero. Would you like some clothes? You don't seem to be wearing any. You remember the state of your body and decide that, yes, some clothes from a hero would be nice. He's overjoyed by your answer. Apparently his outfits are too gaudy for the other townsfolk, so no one else wants them. The true end of the hero suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change his fate. I could make a living as a tailor rather than a hero? Please tell me what to do to reach that dream. The hero now fights alongside you. I agreed to follow you, but I didn't expect to face something like this. The hero has arrived. We really couldn't have a final boss battle without him. You're the one who's been killing us? Murderer! I can't truly call myself a hero until you've been defeated. We'll see about that. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Yeah, the hero has been living. Your HP has run out. You were overcome by tragedy. No, what? No. If you wish to challenge me again, collect more bad endings. You'll be able to reach this path again through the maiden's true ending. I'll be waiting. Your bad end. No! Alright. Final one. You happen to find the maiden as she exits the church, her heart set on meeting a demon. Perfect timing. She approaches you, having already taken notice of your old farm. Excuse me, are you a traveler? I've never seen anyone like you before. You explain that, no, you're not a traveler. Well, maybe you are in a sense. You've come all this way. The maiden, regardless, goes with you, excited with excited curiosity. Then perhaps you might be a demon? I was hoping to meet one today. Think of all the terrible fates that she would bring about. She's the catalyst of this story, after all. My role as a maiden is to be captured by an overlord, but you see, I've grown so tired of waiting. You remember this part. She wanted to understand her role better, and so you ask what it is that she's hoping to gain from this. The maiden is confused with your question. Perhaps it was as simple as wanting to reach the place that she felt like she belonged. The true end for the maiden suddenly becomes clear. You offer to change her fate. Is there something I can do to find fulfillment? Then please guide me. The maiden will now fight alongside you. What is this horrible creature? You wound me, dear maiden. Is tragedy really such a terrible thing to behold? I remember now. I remember all the awful things you put us through. Then this should be familiar to you as well. Tragedy attacks with a terrible fate. Now that my whole party is here, can you solve my final puzzle? Which combination of behaviors will open the path to you to find your true ending? Show me! Hope, baby. It's goddamn hope! Our true endings do exist. They simply must. The maiden hopes with all her heart to overcome tragedy. This is it. With everyone's heart united, you take aim towards the best possibility of futures. You will all unleash one final attack to destroy tragedy once and for all. You've done it. You've managed to defeat me. A tragic ending for tragedy itself. I love it. I must thank you all for fulfilling my roles perfectly. Thank you, hero. Thank you, maiden. Thank you, underling. Thank you, overlord. Enough of this nonsense! We defeated you, so die already! Don't worry, I'll be making my exit shortly. Finally, thank you most of all. We couldn't have made it here without you. Yes, my Bad End Theater did contain a truly good ending after all. I apologize for antagonizing you all for so long. I wanted to deliver a satisfying story. Was I able to do it, I wonder? I'm satisfied. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Happy endings shouldn't always come easily. Reality is not so kind. But you've earned this one. Here's your true ending. Your true ending. Yay! Oh, that was cool. Your true end. Oh, so you weren't done with my bad endings, and so now you're back for more? You'll have to cancel out your true ending if you want to go back to the way things were before the final battle. Shall we begin the resetting process? There are two options. If you missed out on seeing all 41 bad endings, you can keep your progress and reset to before you started the true ending. Or you can erase all I don't want to erase it all. Reset to before the true end. Progress has been set. You are now free to enjoy the rest of my bad endings. Oh. On your way to the Overlord's castle, you spot a maiden heading back towards the village. She couldn't have come from the Overlord's castle, could she? This may be the exact maiden you've currently been seeking to rescue. You approach her with curiosity, and she runs from you for some reason. Wonder what that's all about, but then you remember you're covered in demon blood. Not wanting to look like you're a crazy person chasing after her or anything, you nonchalantly walk back to the town. You pass back to the town square. You notice the whole village is cowered around. Is that the maiden you saw earlier? She's bound to a wooden stake. The crowd is in a frenzy. Smoke begins to rise and you stand idly by while flames consume the maiden. She must have done something horrible to deserve that. You decide to call it a day and return to your house, but you can't escape this sinking feeling. Maybe you aren't cut out for this role. That was crazy. Okay. Can we do that and not kill them? Oh, okay. Take your chances. Castle. You're the hero after all, it's your job. On your way to the Overlord's castle, you spot a maiden heading back towards the village. She couldn't have come from the Overlord's castle, could she? This may be the exact maiden you're currently seeking to rescue. You approach her with curiosity. You ask the maiden what she's doing. Doesn't she know the Overlord's castle is, like, right there? It's dangerous. The maiden explains that she just spoke with the Overlord, and it turns out the demons never had any diabolical plans to harm the village or anyone in it. I would believe her story. You have no reason to assume she's lying to you, even though her story is kind of hard to believe. You feel you should trust her. And you tell her you're pretty surprised that everyone has been wrong about demons all along. Townspeople must be informed immediately. The two of you return to the village. They had been so worried they praised you for your bravery, but the maiden quickly sets the record straight. There was nothing she needed to be rescued from in the first place. The villagers look at you for explanation. You completely inform them that this isn't your story to tell. You merely ran into her on your way to the castle. She explains that the Overlord isn't interested in capturing maidens or anything of the sort. The villagers turn to you again in disbelief. They aren't being subtle in how little they trust the maiden's story. You totally believe her, but to placate these fair citizens, you volunteered to speak to the demons personally, just in case. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You're too busy thinking about what a great, reliable hero you are to hear what they're saying. The town elder's voice breaks out of your thoughts. He implores you to meet with the Overlord immediately, and says they'll all keep an eye on the maiden until you return. You figure that sounds alright, but the mood is kind of intense for some reason. Did you miss something? You aren't sure what's going on, but you get to your feeling it might be bad to leave the maiden on her own. But she suddenly takes off running. Oh, you thought the two of you were in this together. Her actions have convinced the crowd that she's obviously been a liar and a witch from the start. People are shouting for you to hunt her and her demon friends down already, but that doesn't sound like a very heroic task. You can't help but feel these people are wrong. It's up to you to catch up to her and talk to the demons in order to clear up this misunderstanding. You valiantly dash after the maiden towards the Overlord's castle. But you were too late. Through the unguarded gates, you spot a group of demons surrounding a baby. A body. Maiden, she was a fool to have trusted demons after all. Your hero blood is boiling. You avenged her death. You charge through the gates to eliminate every demon you see. What the fuck are you doing killing all of my soldiers? The Overlord is angry. You vow to exterminate her and all of demonkind. You clash again and again, but the Overlord isn't going down easily. You're both dangerously low in health when everything goes black. Your quest has come to an abrupt end. Unlucky hero end. You find the maiden being held captive by the Overlord just as you suspected, but for some reason, you can't sense anything sinister happening. You all look at each other in surprise and confusion. This is no time to hesitate. Ask the maiden what's going on. She explains that she came on her own and was never in any danger. She hesitantly asks why you're covered in blood. You don't know how to respond. The Overlord moves past you and out the door. To see her army in lifeless, bloodied piles. She's wailing. It's horrible. This is your chance, hero. This is all just a big misunderstanding. You hope she'll let this whole thing slide if you could just explain yourself. You really try, but the Overlord is inconsolable. She tears you apart, and the maiden watches in silence. As you die, you can't help but think you probably deserved this. Tragic hero end. Destroy the Overlord. You lunge forward, driving your blade through the evil Overlord. She screams and then falls silent. Dang it. The Overlord has been slain. You smile, offering the maiden your hand. She takes it after slight hesitation. She must be surprised at how strong you are. You escort the maiden home. She is oddly quiet on the trek back to the village. She must be too shy to speak. The villagers are very pleased with what a good job you've done, slaying the Overlord and saving a hostage. They throw a huge celebration in your name. You're remembered for generations as the greatest hero the village has ever seen. Yeah, I guess that's a good end for him, he thinks. You pause when you see a group of suspicious demons standing near the entrance. They're talking about assassinating their Overlord. This proves to be that demons really are foul creatures. We have to tell her about this! You don't understand what the maiden is thinking. The world is better off with less demons. They're all cold, ruthless creatures that should be all destroyed. And those same creatures just noticed you eavesdropping. The maiden takes off into the castle, and you have no choice but to follow. You burst in the Overlord's room. The maiden frantically tries to communicate what's just been overheard. The demon underlings barge in, next calling you liars. It's followed by a group from the entrance who shifts the blame back onto the little one. These demons only care about themselves. How low can they be? You begin shouting at them, and the whole room dissolves into noise until the Overlord yells at everyone to shut their traps. She threatens them with violence, as Overlord is no better than her subjects. You grip your sword tightly. If only you had cut through everyone here to get your maiden safely, you certainly would. Blech. If you have to cut through every one of them with this maiden safety to get this maiden to safety, you certainly will. You goddamn will. You know I will. A group of demons hisses at each other before shutting the door, leaving the runt of the litter behind. You glance around for another exit, but there isn't one. You have a terrible feeling about this. In an instant, the whole room is engulfed in flames. What kind of demonic magic is this? The underling pounds on the door, upset with that it's been betrayed. You join in, vowing to slay the cowardly demons on the other side. The next moment, the Overlord has taken hold of the underling. It's crying for mercy. She thrusts her claws into the underling's chest and it lets out a horrible scream. Oop, I didn't turn on... Be merciful. You back away. You won't be the next target of her rage. She continues to dig her claws into the limp body. You can no longer watch. Look to the maiden. She's crying, hands clasped together in prayer. You have faith in a time like this. To have faith in a time like this, you envy her. The two of you, the Overlord and the underling's corpse, are consumed by flames. Resigned hero end. Okay. Is she going killed in retribution? It continues to cry and make excuses, but the Overlord does nothing. To your surprise, she lets it go. Are demons capable of mercy? You guess it doesn't matter now. You'll all burn together. True hero ending. You sneak up to the Overlord's room, but there's a couple of humans in there. You watch the scene unfold. You aren't sure why, but the Overlord suddenly cuts down the hero. She approaches the maiden you brought to her earlier. With the Overlord distracted, you figure this is a good chance as any. You launch a sneak attack, getting her right in the back. She flinches, giving you enough advantage to take her down. You rip the Overlord apart until she drops. That was messier than you would have liked. The maiden mutters something from the corner. Thank you for saving me. It wasn't your intention, but it sounds like you did something heroic. You tell the maiden to go home. This place is dangerous. She follows your advice and leaves the castle. Your castle! You are now the Overlord. Heroic underling ending. After a few hours of sleep, you are rudely awakened by the sounds of battle. You emerge from your room to find a hero has slaughtered many of your friends and work associates. What a jerk! Avenge your fallen comrades, save yourself. I guess we'll do both, so. Avenge your fallen comrades! Who does this guy think he is? Coming in here and killing everyone like some maniac. What did we ever do to him? You lunge at him while he's busy driving his sword into the guard, who sometimes bought you food whenever they noticed you were feeling kind of down. You liked that guard. You wish that all your demon heart that this hero suffers from his deeds. You bite into him, tearing him flesh from bone. It tastes like iron. The hero struggles. You feel his sword go through you, but there is no pain, only retribution. More of your comrades pile onto him as your consciousness fades. The hero is overtaken. Your army is won. You've earned your rest. Victoria's underling end. You're dead. He's dead. He's dead. Rip. Time. Save yourself. You look around at the lifeless forms of those you've known as far back as you can remember. You feel glad not to be in their shoes. You also feel guilty to be thinking that as you flee the castle until you remember your role, not as an underling, but as a demon. Kind of thing is expected of you. Maybe you'll start a new life far away from any humans or demons. You'll live peacefully alone in some dark, deep forest somewhere. Deserted underling end. Keep her here. The maiden came here to be captured by you, didn't she? You'll grant her wish. You tell the hero you won't let him take her home. The maiden assures you that she'll be back, but you don't budge. The hero is cautious now. If you won't let her go, maybe you demons are evil after all. And if you are, I'll be forced to vanquish you. You have no choice. You destroy the hero before he can steal your maiden away. She's frightened. You don't understand why. Didn't she say she preferred this place to her village? Now she doesn't have to leave. You take a step towards the maiden and she backs herself into a corner. You don't understand. Something sharp pierces your back. The hero? No, he's already... It's one of your underlings. The maiden screams. Your servant tackles you, tearing you apart with their claws. You struggle to retaliate. You've done so much damage, you can barely move now. They've done so much damage, you can barely move now. Your blood is everywhere. You can't believe this has happened to you. Why has this happened to you? You have been slain by your own underling. Betrayed Overlord and B. Take a step towards Spain, and she backs herself into a corner. You don't understand. She wanted to stay here with you. The hero was trying to get in the way of that. You had to kill him. You'll be sure to keep the maiden very safe from now on. There we go. Selfish Overlord. It isn't long before the hero bursts into your room. But he shouldn't have made it here. Why didn't they stop him? The hero just stands there, unsure of himself. He is covered in demon blood. As the maiden speaks to him, trying to explain the situation, you moon past the hero and out the door. You're not thinking clearly. Seeing your servant's body is in pieces, all stew around your castle, has really taken it out of you. That hero did this? There's so much blood. Why? Why did he come for the maiden? Did he think she needed rescuing? There was no one for this hero to save her. There was no one for this hero to save here. There was never any harm meant for anyone. You were just talking to her. Why has it turned out like this? The hero stands, babbling insincere apologies and excuses, realizing his wrongdoings. But you are beyond hearing that kind of bullshit. You've had it with these humans, always murdering your servants, and for no reason. You can no longer hold yourself back and lash out at the hero. When you regain control, there is nothing left of the hero. The maiden has fled in terror. You are alone. You wake to a huge commotion outside. A hero showed up and started totally murdering your soldiers. What the hell, guy? You rush out into the battlefield to confront this jerkwad. You curse him and very rudely inquire his reasons for doing all this. The hero yells at you, demanding you return the maiden you're holding captive. You don't know what he's talking about. You can't forgive his actions. You do battle with this hero, but he has grown strong from cutting down your army. You are unable to defeat him. With his decisive swings, he stabs you and cuts you into pieces. You fall. You have failed your subjects. You spit curses weakly. You wish you'd been stronger. Maybe you were never suited to be an overlord in the first place. The truth was, you were never that much more powerful than the demons who served you. It was the title, the control that gave you strength. These are your thoughts as you're swallowed by darkness. Starby, like, show me something new. That's the whole point. I'm trying to see everything. I wonder if, like, I want to know what happens when you get every ending. That's what I'm doing. There we go. One of your underlings is tearing out your throat. You try to struggle, but you can tell you're already mortally wounded. What have you done to deserve this kind of ending? You remember now that you gave this one a day off, and this is how it repays you? You die wondering if you could have done anything to prevent this. Alright, take retribution. You pierce their chest with your claws. They scream. The hero backs away. He's wise not to interfere. They've stopped moving, but you keep digging and thrusting your claws into them. It doesn't make you feel any better. The underling's corpse burns along with you and the two humans. Get out of here. Dead. Rip. You're interrupted by another human in the doorway. This time it's the hero. He suddenly strikes, cutting through you with his blade. He didn't even hesitate. Ah, you've gone soft. How could you let your guard down like that? How unfair. After all you've done to avoid this outcome, you can't outrun your destiny. The hero always slays the overlord. You should never have trusted a human. He watches the hero escorts the maiden out of your castle. Captured by a demon, at least she got what she came here for. You join your army in eternal slumber. Here we go. So it's like she sees everyone dead. Look down and see a blade protruding from your chest. Ah, that was so careless of you. So this is how you die, stabbed in the back by some cowardly hero. What a joke. You're supposed to be the ruthless one. That's right, humans can't be trusted, not if this is what they're capable of. You should have remembered that before letting one in. You watch as the hero takes the maiden's hand, leading her through a sea of corpses he left in his wake. Captured by a demon, at least she got what she came here for. You join your army in eternal slumber. See, that time you do actually join your army. This time they are actually all dead. The river tells you that you should get lost. How rude, you just got here. You don't want to cause any trouble, so you figure it's time to go back. Along the way, you encounter a hero. He's covered in demon blood, so you are frightened of the sight of him and run away. You return to the village, alone. Everyone was very worried about you. They surround you with 1,000 questions, and you tell them your story. As your explanation, the Overlord has never had any intentions to harm anyone here. You notice the look of uncertainty in the crowd. People are whispering things to each other while you speak to them. You are loudly interrupted by an old man. He rudely calls you a demon sympathizer. The crowd is growing unruly. You don't understand. You've only told them the truth. Do they not believe you? Everyone begins speculating what must have actually happened. They weave elaborate lies and ask you to prove your innocence. How could you have returned without the aid of a hero, they ask? You could not have possibly escaped the Overlord on your own without harm. You must be conspiring with the demons, trying to trick everyone into believing they aren't just the horrible creatures we know them to be, so they say. Have the people of your village always been this blinded by their fears and hatred of things they've never even cared to know? You wonder how you missed that before. You are seized by the crowd, and voices from all sides are calling for a public execution. You are burned at the stake. You don't want to die. You wonder what it would have been better to hide the truth. You don't like the thought of that. You've always lived honestly, so why is this happening? Why are you being punished? You hear the dissenting voices of your family and neighbors, but they, like you, are powerless against the momentum. They can only watch as you burn, and you can only cry for them. You are so very sorry. Damn. Guess what you're doing. You don't know the Overlord's castle. Don't you know what the Overlord's castle is like? Right there? You explain everything that happened. He's very surprised demons don't seem to be as malicious as you were raised to believe. The two of you returned to the village, hoping to communicate this to everyone. They had been so worried, and are so very glad that the hero brought you back. You quickly set the record straight. You weren't rescued, because there was nothing to be rescued from in the first place. Villagers seem confused and look to the hero for an explanation. He tells them that he only ran into you on the way to the castle, and that it isn't really his story to tell. You explain to them how you met the Overlord, and that she is not only actually interested in capturing maidens or other means, things like that. The villagers look to the hero for confirmation. You feel a little miffed that they seem to prefer his words over yours, but you don't say anything about it. The hero proclaims that he believes your story, but volunteers to go talk to the demons himself, just to make absolutely sure. The crowd breaks into hushed whispers. You hear words like trickery and demon sympathizer being thrown around, which makes you frown. You're pretty shocked that everyone's this hesitant to believe you. Does the hero even trust you? You aren't sure anymore. An old man implores the hero to speak with the Overlord immediately. He says you should be held prisoner and considered dangerous until the hero returns. Much to disbelief, the crowd agrees with him. Because, of course, if you were conspiring with the demons, they can't afford to let their guard down. The whole village would be slaughtered by monsters. The hero isn't saying anything. You'll be tied up and tossed into a cell at this rate. If you're going to be held captive by anyone, it's going to be by the Overlord, not your fellow countrymen. Oh, I don't know what I pressed. You can prove yourself without anyone's help. You make a run for the Overlord's castle, leaving the hero behind. A suspicious group of demons standing outside the entrance. They're talking about assassinating the Overlord. They immediately notice you overheard them. The underling you recognize from before is the first to do something about it. This is just the way it has to be! They suddenly attack you. The moment you regret having ever trusted the demons, you die instantly. Rip. Grab the hero and run, okay. You boldly announce that you'll accompany the hero to prove yourself. You'd rather risk that out there instead of staying in the village that doesn't trust you. No one seems to know how to react. You grab the hero by the wrist and take off before anyone stops you. Near the castle entrance, you spot a group of demon spies congregating, thinking about assassinating. I assume we're gonna get... Yeah, okay, that time we got to the true ending. But then a hero barges into the room. His clothes are stained with dark liquid. It's dripping from his weapon, too. You realize it must be demon blood. Something horrible has happened. The hero suddenly dashes toward the Overlord, sword drawn. Protect her! Ooh! You selfishly throw yourself in front of the hero's blade. You selfishly throw yourself... Selfishly. Yeah, I wanna die! You selflessly throw yourself in front of the hero's blade, acting as a shield. It's funny, you think. You never could have imagined this would be the way that you die. The roles are all switched around, but it feels right to you somehow. You're glad your destiny turned out to be saving someone rather than being saved yourself. As your vision fades, you hope that everything turns out alright for your new friend. Aww. Her expression is complicated. Being captured by the Overlord is in a horrible way like this. Was this your destiny after all? But the Overlord stops, or rather, someone has stopped her. Whatever held back your scream before doesn't stop you this time. The Overlord is being ripped to shreds by one of her demon underlings. You think you recognize them, but it's hard to tell with all the blood. Everyone stopped moving now. The room is silent, save for the underlings' heavy breathing. You thank them for what they've done, even though it was awful. You feel you've been rescued from a terrible fate. They look at you, confused for a moment, but then puff out their chest. You should probably go home. This place is dangerous. You follow their advice and take your way out of the castle. You decide to never leave home again for the rest of your life. See, that's not what we want. We don't want that. That's not cool. Do nothing. The hero's blade pierces the Overlord, and she lets out a horrible scream. You flinch. The Overlord is slain. The hero smiles and holds out his hand to you, saying it's time to go home. His glove is drenched in blood. Hesitantly, you take his hand. The hero guides you through the castle, past the corpses of enemies. You try to keep your eyes at your feet. There's blood everywhere. You shut your eyes, but even then you can't escape the smell. All of this was because of you, wasn't it? You exit the castle, and the hero leads you back to the village. Everyone celebrates the hero's great triumph over the demons. You feel sick, but you take part in the festivities regardless. Complacent maiden. Your friends turn and notice a pair of humans have overheard your entire conversation. They take off into the castle and are headed into the Overlord's room. Fuck! The Overlord will kill you for sure if she finds out you were conspiring to take her out. You dash into the castle after the humans. Sure enough, the maiden's already frantically telling the Overlord everything. You shout that the humans are liars. Your friends soon arrive to back you up, except they don't. Instead, they blame you on the whole thing. They cry that it was your idea, and that they were just going with the flow, too scared to refuse your crazy plan. You can't believe that they tell the Overlord such a blatant lie. You always knew better than to trust them. You're the one who didn't have a choice here. You all shout at each other until the Overlord demands silence. Regardless of who led this conspiracy, I have no choice but to punish everyone to keep you all in your place, crushed beneath my heel. She sounds tough, but lately all she does is sleep. You doubt her strength. You hear your treacherous friends mutter something around going to plan A, and suddenly the door slams shut. You're trapped in here with the Overlord and the two humans, and then the room bursts into flames. You pound on the door, screaming curses at all those who betrayed you. The hero joins you, vowing to slay the lot of them. You wish he'd get that chance. The Overlord grabs you by the throat. You scream for mercy. You are forced into this mess. You're sure now that they would have killed you if you'd sided with her. But the Overlord doesn't hear your pleas. She drives her claws into your chest. At least she made it quick. Traitorous. To your surprise, the Overlord spares you. Or maybe she'd rather see you suffer instead of looking around. Or maybe she'd rather see you suffer instead. Looking around, you've just gone from one dead end to another. The maiden is crying, the hero is silent. You all burn together. A letter flutters down from beyond the curtain. You found Lost Letter 3. Okay. Is that here? My love, you've been feeling a little depressed lately. Many patrons have come to my theater, but none so far have stayed to experience every tale in its entirety. The critics haven't exactly been kind, but I understand. My stories aren't exactly crowd pleasers. Despite that, you've always listened to the very end. I'm grateful for that. Hope to see you again soon. Forever yours, Tragedy. The maiden shouts something behind you, and you turn just in time to see her throw herself between you and the hero's blade. It pierces her chest, and she falls to the floor lifeless. As the pool of blood beneath her grows, so does your rage. The hero has taken everyone from you now. You lose control, and the hero is obliterated. But your hatred for humans has not yet been sated. You go on and destroy them all, and become ruler of the entire world. Ooh. Letter flutters down. Lost letter number 4. My love, do you remember when we first met? I had just finished one of my scripts, one I was quite proud of. In fact, as I read it aloud, you happened to pass by. What a terrible ending, you said. Why should these poor fools have to die? You were so rude. You wouldn't accept any of my justifications, and yet you managed to convince me. It really would be better if everyone could live in harmony. However unrealistic that felt. I look back fondly on that day. Even now, I wonder if somewhere you're thinking of it too. Forever yours, Tragedy. Lunge forward to put an end to the evil Overlord, but the blade pierces the maiden instead. She has sacrificed herself to protect this demon. It takes you a moment to recover from the shock the Overlord wails. Why did you do that? You're not sure if the question is directed at you. The Overlord strikes at you in a vengeful rage. You parry, and she is slain. Your sword feels heavy. You look at your hands and your clothes. Blood. So much blood. You look to the fallen maiden, running to tell the townspeople. Why would she protect the Overlord? She must have been brainwashed by demonic magic. You pick up the Overlord's head, wrapping it in your cape, and begin your long journey back to the town. You will say that you were too late, that there was nothing that could be done for the girl, but the Overlord is slain. There will be celebration. Lost letter number 1. My love, it just isn't fair at all, is it? For them to force us apart like this? It's unreasonable, cruel. I had to find an outlet for this grief somehow, so I decided to write, and I'll keep writing until you find me once again, and then maybe we could write a story together. I'll be waiting for that day. Yours, Tragedy. You and your friends turn to notice the maiden from earlier has overheard your entire conversation. It'd be bad for you if the Overlord found out about this. There we go. Toss her in the dungeon. You and your friend seize the maiden and bring her to the dungeon under the castle. It's empty, save for the decorative skulls. They're only there to make you feel spooky. The maiden is very upset. You leave her in the cell to continue scheming with your friends. But now the hero has arrived at the front gates. He's asking about the maiden, perhaps the very one you just locked up. The gatekeeper, who has seen everything, tells the hero exactly what happened. What an idiot, you think? Why give the hero an excuse to start slaughtering us? The hero yells, "Prepare to face justice!" and other such cliche hero lines before driving his sword into the gatekeeper's torso. You're small compared to a lot of your friends, so you're able to slip away without getting cut up by the sword. You think to yourself, if this hero took down the Overlord for you, everything might just actually work out in your favor. You wait for things to die down outside before poking your head out. You spot the Overlord and the hero locked in battle. They've worn each other down, making it very easy for you. Once an opening presents itself, you hit the back of the hero's head, knocking him out. What are you doing? Couldn't you tell this was a duel? You don't respond. You have to carry out the assassination. You tackle her and rip her to shreds with your claws until she stops moving. You finish off the hero next. You can't let him revive and come after you later. Kind of a cheap victory, but it doesn't make any difference. Anyone who manages to survive comes crawling out of their hiding place. You are the new ruler of this castle. Your subjects bow before you. You live in fear that they will one day betray you as you have betrayed the Overlord. Okay, yeah. Same ending, but now we have a new choice. They immediately notice you and over. Bleh, my gosh, we're almost done. They immediately notice you overheard them and decide to lock you in a dungeon before you can cause any trouble. You cry out, but the demon ignores your protest. You can't begin to escape, possibly being thrown into a cell back into your village, only being tossed in this awful place. This is terrible. Who's going to keep those demons from harming the Overlord? You hope she can defend herself. You're sure she can. You hear the sounds of battle echoing through the halls outside. Did the hero follow you? If he's out there, your cries don't reach him. After a while, the violence seems to die down, but it's impossible to tell what happened. You continue awake, but no one comes for you. Unable to escape, you rot in the cell. Imprisoned maiden end. Letter flutters down beyond the curtain. You found lost letter 2. My love, I finally fulfilled my childhood dream of mine. Yes, that's right. I opened up my very own theater. You would be so proud if you could only see it. I knew how much it would have meant to you to be on my side on opening night. I'm sorry for getting ahead without you, but I thought if my theater become world famous, then maybe you just might hear of it wherever you are. Forever yours, Tragedy. Willpower, tenacity, ambition, hope. New, 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 new. No. Well, I did my best. Happy endings should not always have to come so easily. Reality is not so kind. Okay, so there we go. And that's the entire game. That's this game 100%ed. Thank you so much to everyone coming for today's stream. I had a lot of fun with this game. I'm excited to do more games. 100% in one stream. That's right. I mean, like, when I looked it up, it said this game was only like 2 hours long to 100%, and we're at 2 hours and 30 minutes, so I think that's reasonable, since I was reading everything. Yeah, so thank you to everyone who came out today. And I'll see you all next weekend for a different game. I'm excited to share so many more games with you guys. See you next time. Bye bye. If anyone comes back. I just realized it's not over. Something's missing. Oh, you're still here. The curtain has closed for the final time. I'm shutting down my theater. There are no more tragedies left for me to tell after all. There's one more. Me? You like to know why I started this theater? It's because I'm obsessed with bad endings, of course. Remove the mask. You gently raise your fingers to the cracks of in my mask. Piece by piece, it falls apart in your hands. I should have warned you this might affect what you think of my stories. You can't help but compare the face to the maidens. I'm not her, but it's not like she isn't me necessarily. That's how it works with fiction. Would you like to hear not another ending, but the truth? Tell me. Alright, one last story. You may already know this, but it doesn't have a happy ending. First, I'll set the stage. In this world, there are no such thing as demons, or even heroes, really. There was a girl eager to set out to fulfill some sort of destiny that was part true. She met someone, another girl. A running theme, isn't it? The maiden and the overlord. The two were inseparable, and for the first time, everything was just wonderful. But their families, the communities they came from, neither could approve of their relationship. That is the reality of many. The pair was no different. Despite their best efforts, the world was intended on pulling them apart. We used to like this type of stories where love conquers all, where the strength of your love will pull you through any hardship, and everything is okay in the end. I lost her, and I started this theater. But the story does have a happy ending? Huh? I was hoping to find you. It's you. It's been so long. I thought I'd never see you again. You always think of the worst endings. I wasn't about to give up just because things got difficult. Why didn't you reveal yourself sooner? I feel like such a fool. I could say the same to you. You knew I could never resist giving your stories a happy ending. So, of course I'd be drawn to a place like this. Yes, but I didn't think it would actually work. Sometimes everything does turn out okay in the end. Thank you for reminding me of that. I love you. I love you too. Now truly, everyone can live happily ever after. Tragedies end. There we go. Sorry about that. There's nothing to see, my love. But if you'd like to reset, if you really want to experience everything all over again, I'm happy to oblige. Shall we begin the resetting process? Let's reset. There are two options. Keep some of the progress and reset to before the true ending, or you can erase all of your progress and replay the game as if very first time. You'll have to collect everything all over again. You can't take this back, so choose carefully. Total reset. Your progress has been completely reset. Does this count as a bad ending? Well, just in case. Total reset end. There's the ending. Now I have the 100%. Okay! Sorry about that. Now the 100%. Thank you very much to everyone who came. Sorry I didn't realize that I didn't have it fully ended. But now it is fully ended. And I will now end. Thank you very much. Bye bye!